the majority of this problem is going to actually look like this. Okay, it's going to look like that. All right. So, let's say we're trying to find out where it is greater than 0. Okay, where it is greater than, okay. Let's say we're trying to find out whether it's greater than 0. How about greater than or equal to 0? All right. So let's start off by factoring the bottom. Okay, let's start off by factoring the bottom. I get 2x and x. Okay, and what is that? 3 and 2 plus 3 minus 2. That's correct. No, it's not. It's minus 3 and plus 2. Okay. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going... It would work because 2 times 2 is positive 4, minus 3 is positive 1. So now I'm going to set each one to equal to 0 and solve. Okay, and so I get x equals to -5 for the top, for the numerator, 3 over 2, okay, and -2, okay? And from there on out, it's the same freaking thing, dude, okay? So, what I'm going to do is draw a number line, okay? Let's see if I can create a nice looking one here. Yes, it's a nice number line right there. Boom. I'm going to put 0 in the middle. Okay, I'll put it a little bit to the right. Okay, and hopefully you'll see why in a little bit. 3 over 2 is roughly here. -2 and -5. Circle, circle, open circle, open circle, open circle. Okay, now we got red or pink. Okay, we got pink, green, blue, gray, orange. What other colors can I use? Yellow. And, ooh, I'm running out of colors over here. Let's go with, oh dear, brown. Let's go brown. All right. Now in the pink zone, I'm going to use, okay, in the pink zone, I'm going to go -6. Okay. In the green zone, I'm going to go -5. Blue zone, let's go with -3. Gray zone, -2. Orange zone, 0. Yellow zone, we don't really have a choice. It's going to be 3/2. And brown zone, let's go with 2. Okay. Brown zone is 2. Okay. Let's go 3/2 here. Let's erase all these dots over here. And it's the same thing. We're just going to use a sign chart this time. Okay. 3/2. Okay. So, let's put in let's put a -6 to this numerator. So I'm gonna use this equation to plug into. Okay, I'm gonna use this equation to plug into. All right, and let's throw in. Let me get my highlights going on. Pink. Okay, green, blue, gray, orange, yellow, brown. Okay. Now that -6. Let's plug in -6 here. -6 plus 5 is -1. You square root a -1, the whole thing collapses. Okay, it doesn't work out. So this is undefined because you cannot square root a negative number. Undefined is not greater than or equal to 0. Frowny face. Okay, let's plug in -5. -5 plus 5 is 0. Square root of 0 is 0. Who cares what the bottom number? Who even cares what this becomes? Okay, who cares what this becomes? That just becomes a big fat 0. Okay, and 0 is greater than or equal to 0. That's smiley face. Okay, so if you want to, you can plug in -5 to the bottom here too. Plug it in here, but it doesn't even matter because the numerator is 0, who cares what the bottom is? A numerator of 0 divided by any kind of denominator is going to be 0. Okay. -3. Okay. Here's where things start getting a little bit interesting. Okay. Still not hard. Still on the easy side. -3 plus 5 is a positive number. Square root of positive number is a positive number. Okay. Let me do it diagonally. Whoops. -3 times 2 is -6 minus 3 is -9. That's a minus sign. -3 minus 2 is -1. Okay, which is a negative number, and this becomes a negative times a negative on bottom is a positive. A positive over positive is positive. Okay, and a positive is indeed greater than 0. Smiley face. Okay, let's look at -2. Okay, let's look at -2. Now you can plug in -2 here. You can plug in -2 here. You can just do a little shortcut. -2 plus 2 is 0. We have a denominator with a 0, and 0 times anything becomes the whole denominator. I messed that up in the way I said it. It wasn't clean. Let me say it cleanly. -2 plus 2 is 0 for this parentheses. Okay, 0 times who cares what this is becomes a big fat 0 for the whole denominator. And if the whole denominator is 0, the whole thing falls apart and becomes undefined. Okay, that's a cleaner way of saying it. Undefined is not greater than or equal to 0. Sad face. Let's plug in 0 over here. Okay, 0 plus 5 is a positive number. Square root of a positive number is a positive number. Let's plug in 0 to the bottom. 2 times 0 is 0, minus 3 is -3. Okay, that's a negative number. 0 plus 2 is a positive number because it's 2. Okay, a negative times a positive is a negative on bottom. A positive divided by negative is a negative, which is not greater than or equal to 0. Sad face. Okay, now let's look right here, 3 halves. Okay, 3 halves. Now again, you can plug into each part of the equation here, but let's do a shortcut. If you plug into the bottom, this becomes a 0 for this parentheses. 0 for this parentheses times I don't care what this is going to be a 0 for the whole denominator. A denominator of 0 is going to be undefined. So undefined is not greater than or equal to 0. Sad face. Okay, 2. Okay, 2. Let's look at that. 2 plus 5 is 7. Square root of 7 is a positive number. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4, minus 3 is 1, which is a positive number. 2 plus 2 is 4, which is a positive number. All of them are positive. A positive. I said that messy again. Positive times a positive on bottom is positive. Positive on top divided by a big positive on bottom is just a big fat positive, which is indeed greater than or equal to 0. which is smiley face. All right, that is the quote-unquote hard part. I just articulated every single baby step to make it, and that's what made it seem longer, but you should be blasting through this pretty fast, okay? And let's go ahead and shade now. Okay, let's shade in the smiles. -5 is a smile, so I'm going to shade. -3, the blue, -3, which is the blue zone, is a smile, so I'm going to shade. Okay. What else is a smile? 2 is a smile, so I'm going to shade there. Okay. So our answer, our final answer, is going to look something like this. Okay. -5. Boom. -2. And then we are going to have 3/2, x, infinity, and let's turn that into the more mature way of writing that, okay, which is, or I'm going to go -5, -2, or 3/2, and infinity. Boom. Done. Okay, that's how you do it. All right. So honestly, most of this lesson is the same exact thing. Okay, I'm just teaching you a new way of instead of using the, putting in these equations to your calculator, pressing the trace input output. Okay, because these equations can get gnarly, and some people may just plug in the wrong equation to get in the get-go. Okay, this is this in all honesty, this might take a little bit longer because it's manual, but it's very easy to conceptualize, and again, it's very useful for those especially planning on taking AP Calc. But I like this way because you actually practice your mathematical reasoning. Okay, now let's go ahead and just double check this on Desmos. Okay, now let's go ahead. So in between -5 and -2 should be greater than or equal to 0. In between -5, -2, -5 inclusive. Let's go check that out on Desmos. Okay. All right, and that works out. Look, in between -5 and -2, the graph is above 0. Okay, -5. Let's see. Look at the x values. It gets closer and closer to 2, but it doesn't quite hit 2. Or excuse me, -2. It starts at -5 inclusive, and it gets closer and closer to -2, but it never quite hits it. Okay, because there is a vertical asymptote. Okay. All right. Remember, the alternate way of writing this was what was it? 2x minus 3. 2x minus 3 and x plus 2. Okay, that's alternate way of writing the same exact thing. Okay, and our other answer was 3/2 and infinity. Okay, so look at this. 3/2 is 1.5. It's this strand right here. So in between 3/2 positive and infinity positive, the graph is above 0, and you can see that here. Okay, remember 3/2 is 1.5. It gets closer and closer to 1.5. Okay, closer and closer to 1.5. Look at my decimals, the x values, and then here it just goes on to infinity. Okay, so I just want to show you that the graph matches our manual answer. Okay, so you can check your answers with the graph. All right.